Hey, everyone. Welcome to this week's session of The Good, the Bad, and the Truth. It's your girl, Naya Angel, here with my co host and homies for life, Mr. PAT and E-Man. What's up, fellas?
What's up?
What's good, listeners? What's good out there? What is good? What is good?
Oh man, we definitely have some stuff to discuss this week, guys. Definitely some interesting things going on in the world right now. And of course, as always, before we get started, our guy E-Man has a special message that he wants to send out to the folks. So, E-Man, whenever you're ready, please proceed.
Thank you so much, Night Angel. I really appreciate it. So, before we get started, E-Man has been working on a lot of his PSA. So, and it's for today's session and whatnot. First and foremost, I want to give a shout out to T Pain and whatnot. You know, and the reason why I'm giving a shout out to T Pain because on IG he had a rant, and he was talking about all these rappers keep doing the same thing, and he was telling them to stop it, and do something new and whatnot. And I want to congratulate him on that because for me, when T Pain came out, I was in high school, and I always used to refer to him, that's that, I'm sprung dude and whatnot who's using auto tunes and whatnot. So I thought his music was really not that great and whatnot. But I was wrong. The man can sing, and he's an amazing singer, by the way, without auto tunes. And
Yeah, he really is. I've heard him sing a cappella.
mm, so I was that ignorant dude that this. So now when you get older, you gotta respect certain things. So for this one, I applaud T Pain and whatnot. So I definitely respect them a whole lot more. And I definitely agree with you. Like all these rappers, the little baby, whoever has little in their name, the baby, Lil Uzi Vert, um, young NBA, the list goes on. All of y'all need to stop it, move on from your music, and do something different, please. You guys are ruining not good music. You guys just sound all the same, and it sounds boring. Like I don't get it no more. I really don't, and whatnot. All of y'all need to stop it and whatnot. Stop it and get a life and grow up and change your damn music and whatnot.
You know they're going to say that's the old head perspective, right? That's what they
They
call
can call
all
me
of
an
us
old
who
head
like.
whatsoever and
Yeah,
whatnot. You know what I'm
that's
saying?
what they say to all of us who like rap
Mhm.
that actually makes sense. They say we all old heads.
That's fine then. If I'm
Yeah,
an
they
old
do.
head, then let me take off my belt and whoop all y'all motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. If it's like that, let me take off my belt and whoop all y'all motherfuckers and whatnot. Cause someone need to knock some damn sense in it. You know what I'm saying? Who the hell would call himself not the baby, but Lil Baby also too, knowing there's a rapper name called The Baby. So did you want his hype also too? Like I don't get it with y'all, man. I really don't and
You know
whatnot.
what's funny about that is that and I know this is not an official subject that we're discussing, but it's so funny because I was just having this conversation in a Facebook group last week that actually both Pat and I are in, and I was
I know
having
which
this
group.
conversation. Yeah, I was having this conversation with someone, and because he mentioned something like which one of these four rappers is the most lyrical. Like he posted something, and it was like Ti with Kodak Black and like just three other people from today that have no business being in the same group with Ti. And and my point was I wasn't saying Ti is the most lyrical person in the world, but today's hip hop is very different than what we had even in the early 2000s. There was even back then a more conscious effort to actually put some effort towards lyricism,
Yep.
whereas today that doesn't really seem to be the case. I'm not saying that there aren't young rappers out there who are lyrical, who aren't lyrical. Like I'm not saying that. I don't listen to everyone and everything that's out, so there definitely could be, but the J. Cole's and the Kendricks and the Big Sean's and etc., they're rare today. They're not the majority today. You know what
Very
I mean?
true.
Like,
Very true.
so I was just explaining to him that, like, why are we always being called old heads when there's people that are out today that are also focused on lyricism, like J. Cole, like Big Sean, and etc. What that tells me is that it's just a matter of who feels like putting effort towards their craft and who doesn't. And to each their own. Some people like trap music, some people listen to hip hop for the inspiration. To each their own. But in my opinion, and this is my personal opinion, and I have the right to it like everyone else, I appreciate when an artist appreciates their craft. And it
Same
just
here.
seems like, yeah, it's like, to me, going into a studio and spending all that money in the producer time and etc. just to mumble words I can barely understand doesn't make any sense to me. But again, that's the old head perspective.
You can call me a whole you can call me an old head all you want and whatnot. Still, I need to take off my belt and whip all the motherfucking asses and whatnot. Since y'all gonna call me an old head, so be it. You know what I'm saying? I'll give you the old head, discipline. How we all got discipline.
Old school ass whooping, huh?
Yeah, old school ass whipping and whatnot. So y'all need to stop it out there. Talking about
Stop it.
I was going to say that's PAT's right there. PAT got to jump in there.
that made it a whole 10 times better, man. Just stop it. The little baby and
Oh,
the baby. Mm-hmm. That's over there
okay.
should have a. Matter of fact, since the baby walked out here with a diaper and whatnot, he need to get the
Oh
little baby and
man.
whatnot, so they both can walk out with diapers and whatnot and look like assholes and whatnot. Since they want to be children and whatnot. So, but
Ay, ay, ay. All right. Thank you for your PSA, sir. Good stuff. So to start us off, fellas, we are going to talk about an incident that happened recently over in England. And we're going to talk about a very important aspect of it. And what stemmed from it. So, for those of you who do not know, there was an incident this past Sunday where three Black soccer players on the England team were basically verbally accosted and called all kind of racial slurs and etc. due to how they played at the end of the game. So there's a lot of different aspects of this to consider and talk about. But the gist of what happened was and I'm going to read a portion of the article, and of course, we will share a link, and everyone is encouraged to research and review things on their own. But the gist of the matter and how it relates to what we're going to be specifically discussing is that some censorship on social media happened as a result of this incident, right? And that's really the area and the specific topic we're going to speak on. So our official question is social media censorship a way to combat racist abuse? So, um, I am going to start us off here, fellas. And, my specific answer to that question is that it is a little too convoluted for me to say yes or no. And I'll tell you why. So for me, there were some actions that were taken by some people in charge who made sure that those who did berate these gentlemen with all these racist comments and messages and behavior, that they did, seek retribution for that, for lack of a better term. But in general, I am just against censorship because I feel like if you open up the floodgates for that, it leads to a lot more censorship in general that we will face. And that's never a good thing, right? So in other words, You look at certain countries where their people aren't allowed to log online until the government says so, or people aren't allowed to, speak on certain subjects or even research certain subjects without either the permission of their government or being investigated by their government for doing so. And for me, it just feels like censorship in any form is the first step towards that, towards a completely like authoritarian government that is going to try to completely control how we move, our thoughts, what we say, what we do, and etc. And I'm against that. I'm totally against that, right? And at the same time, I do think that there are certain times where certain things just need to be addressed and removed. For instance, a few years ago, there was a video of a lady actually being murdered, and people were passing that video along for a while before authorities stepped in and said, we're going to find all the avenues we can to remove that video. And in that case, that was appropriate. So for me, the answer is not so cut and dry as yes or no. And I'm referring to censorship in general. With this particular incident, just so everyone has the background on what happened here, and I'm going to read this. This is from CBS News via the Yahoo News site. And it says, London, 3 Black players on English national soccer team have been subjected to racist abuse online after England lost to Italy in the European Championship final Sunday night. The players, Marcus Rashford, Jadon Sancho, and Bukayo Saka, helped carry the England team through the tournament, but missed penalty shots in the final match against Italy. The abuse has been condemned by leaders across the country, including Britain's Prime Minister, Boris Johnson, the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, London's mayor, the Football Association, who called on social media companies to take accountability and action to ban abusers. So that's really the stem of where our question comes from. Again, for me, it's a matter of there needing to be a delicate balance. I am 100% opposed to any kind of environment where we are totally censored and not able to say what we need to say, research what we need to research, have the appropriate conversations, and generally any type of authoritarian government is in charge. But at the same time, as per the example I gave about the woman whose murder was on videotape and that videotape was being distributed, I think that for certain instances, there is a necessity. So that's kind of my view on it. Pretty cut and dry. For me, there isn't just a yes or no answer to that, but I definitely think it's a great question. I'm going to go ahead and throw it to you, PAT. What say you, sir?
All right. So I'll say that obviously what happened was atrocious. And I'm saying obviously because I'm saying obviously for me. But I'm going to speak more so to the social media censorship aspect of this whole thing, and really most likely in general. But to answer the question directly, social media censorship is most certainly not the way to combat racist abuse. First of all, you're not changing the way people feel. Second of all, censoring people is not going to stop them from being racist. And third of all, social media censorship is Orwellian in nature. Orwellian in the sense where these social media platforms are playing the thought police. What's going on? What's going on nowadays is straight out of George Orwell's book, 1984. For those who are familiar with that, If you have not read 1984, I would suggest reading that book, because a lot of what has taken place in that book, some of that stuff is actually happening in the real world. So George Orwell, 1984, for those who aren't familiar, I would suggest reading that book. The fact of the matter is, we all have freedom of speech. That's what the First Amendment is all about. That's what the First Amendment says, right? Now, I understand that there are consequences. And when it comes to social media platforms, they can censor people or ban people if they so choose. I mean, after all, it is their platform. It's their business. It's their company. So they do have that right. I could acknowledge that. However, I've always said that, and when I say that, I'm talking censorship, is a slippery slope. Because basically what these companies are doing is they're placing themselves in a position to play thought police. Really, the whole point of these platforms is to be social. That's why, I mean, that's why they're social media, social networks, for people to be social. So when
I
you
definitely
create,
agree. I definitely agree. But sorry to cut you off, PAT. I just feel that they need to define the word social for all these social media companies, because you can't be using the word social, and it involves people. But that's just me saying that right now.
no,
Like,
I actually agree with what you just said, because yeah, if people can only say certain things, or we're gonna start labeling certain things as hate speech, or people are gonna get banned for saying certain things, whatever that may be, whatever goes against the mainstream narrative, or whatever some people might take to be offensive or whatever. These companies need to define what quote unquote social means, because they throw this term out there, social, but really it's a general term. And with social, I mean, people are socializing, that people are going on these platforms to socialize. And with socializing, obviously people have different opinions, different views, different outlooks. People are expressing themselves constantly. I mean, that's all we're inundated with on these social media platforms, basically people's opinions, among other things. So there's always going to be something that can be taken to be offensive. It's one of those things where it's in the eye of the beholder. You know what they say, beauty, or in some cases ugly, is in the eye of the beholder. So so that's why I think censorship can be a very slippery slope, because that at the end of the day, people will say what they want. I mean, that comes with the territory. So the racist abuse that the football players out there in the UK got is standard OP for racist. When I heard about this incident, of course, I'm having that WTF expression in my head. But at the same time, I do know that this is standard OP. This is what racist people do. This is just what they do. It's not just to the football players, but they're doing this to just black people in general. Whether they're a football player, basketball player, baseball player, whichever, or not, or something else. That's what racist people do. Obviously, it's wrong. And I mean, it shouldn't have taken place, but let's be real. And let's be really real. The internet is a playground for cowards. A lot of racist people happen to be cowards. So it's easy for them to jump online and make racist remarks. You know why? because they know that they're behind a computer and a keyboard and they won't suffer any immediate consequences. Yeah, they might get banned, but that's really about it. And they know, they're fully aware of this. That type of behavior has been going on since who knows how long. But nowadays, it seems like social media is putting the hammer down a bit more. But to wrap it up, I would say overall, I don't think social media censorship is the way to deal with racism online. All it does is push some of these clowns to go and make their own platform where they can just continue to be racist. You're not actually combating racism with censorship. Racist abuse online can only be combated with counter racism online. The abuse just needs to be completely ignored or drowned out by people who take it upon themselves to make the people being abusive online stop. That's just my whole take on it. That's really how you would combat racist abuse. It's gonna have to be counter racism. That's really what's gonna have to be done, because censorship is not gonna make these people stop. What these people will do is just find another way to do it. That's it. So that's my take.
Thank you, Mr. PAT, for sharing. Mr. Eman, we're going to go ahead and throw it to you. What say you, sir?
Ah, okay. So first things first. When you look at this situation, it shouldn't shock you at all. I've never been to the UK, but I've met a few people from the UK, only based upon, me networking in the field that I'm in. But I know the UK is still a racist nation. It's probably by far one of the biggest diverse nations in the world. It I would say it shocks a lot of people, but yeah. But you can't really change people's behaviors unless they're going to change that behavior. If you see, when you hear the word behave, you hear the word be and you hear the word have, you know, you know. And when you start putting that word and you put that word together and you say, towards be, that one person, So when you look at your behavior, it's based upon your environment. And for many people, don't want to change their behavior because they enjoy their environment, you know. Because if they didn't, they wouldn't have done whatever they said to those soccer players, all penalty kicks. It's just a game at the end of the day. It's form of entertainment. Just another form of entertainment. But to take it up to that level, that's when you start seeing those crazy behaviors, when you start seeing the real person, But then I feel when it comes to social media, it's the whole blame game. We need to blame it on somebody and whatnot, Like, here comes an example. I know a lot of people probably don't know about, the Craigslist killer and whatnot, but, they blame Craigslist because, he was out here killing women. Mom was like, can you blame him for killing women? Did he use a platform to, to put that in? Yeah. But we forget about people's actions, So now when we're using like social media now as this whole censorship thing, well, we're not putting blame on social media. We're trying to blame. Let me rephrase that. We're not focused so much on the individual, but we're blaming social media for their censorship. I definitely hate censorship because the simple fact is I've been blocked off Facebook like 6 different times off of very silly things like general comments, simple general comments.
Same.
Simple. Not even. I can't even say if it was racial. I can't even say simple comments. You know, like one of the comments was because I was saying the word coon so much. You know, they kept blocking me and put me in Facebook jail because I said the word coon. I don't even say coon that often. You know, but it wasn't directed towards anybody. I don't call people coons. You know, I don't. But because I was using it in a context correctly based upon an opinion, they threw me in Facebook jail. You see? You know? Just like PAT said, the thought police. That is what most of these social medias are. The thought police, They want to control your thoughts because they want to censorship so that you don't have your own freedom of speech. But like I said earlier before, what is the real definition behind the word social and whatnot? Because if we're not here to learn and be better and do better, then what's the point of these, social media? Like, what's the point of it? Huh? We use it for networking, but we also use it so we can reach other people across the world. If it wasn't because of Facebook, I wouldn't have met people and network with people outside of the US and whatnot. So I can get a good glimpse about what's going on the other side of the world, you know? Things that I'm not seeing because nobody wants me to see it. But it's better for me to go find someone and seek someone out that will give me the information, tell me like, oh, that's what's going down in the UK. Oh, that's what's going down in Africa. Oh, that's what's going down in South America. You know, because they're not going to tell you. You got to go seek that for yourself, whatnot. And now dealing with this situation, with the whole football players, I feel like they're just covering their tracks because everyone knows how racist and discriminate the UK really is. It's been going on for years. Because a lot of people don't even know what the UK slave trade actually, people don't know what it actually is and whatnot, you know? And because many people don't know what it is, won't see that, this is a continuing act that goes on, every day that's over there, That these people, Queen Elizabeth, her mother, went to Africa, stole children from there to bring them over to the UK and changed them, you know? And then they still hate them and whatnot after the rape and incest that they've been doing for years, you know? You know? I just feel social media just needs to take a step back and literally show people their true colors. Because the more you keep hiding shit, people will seek it and will find it. Regardless, it won't change anything. So I would say stop being the thought police. Y'all definitely need to stop being the thought police. Y'all have no control. If you feel like you're protecting your platform, that's a bull face motherfucking lie. You know, the biggest lie in the world. Because you can't tell me that. Because years ago, there wasn't that much censorship on Facebook Now, it's to the point where like people are snitching, telling on themselves and doing wild shit, but now you want to cover your tracks about this shit and whatnot. You know? When people actually have meaningful things to say and want to share things that is actually factual and true, y'all just keep throwing these fact checker shit to be like, oh no, that's not true and whatnot. I'm just like, hold on, how do you give me the right to know what's true and false and whatnot?
Thought policing going on.
Yeah, that's a lot of thought policing. And I like that term. And I'm going to use that term now on. So when I see bullshit, I'm like, yo, stop being the thought police, for goodness sakes, man. Can't tell me how to think. I have my own free will of thinking, so I can change my aspect of what's going on in my mind and my thoughts. So I can clearly make better decisions and whatnot. See, many people don't want to do that. And because many people don't want to do that, this is where we're at every single day and whatnot, It's the same revolving door I keep talking about and whatnot, Nobody, to actually have change, you want to make sure you change thyself first. These motherfuckers don't want to do that. Because if they did, y'all wouldn't have to do all this crazy shit for this whole thought policing shit that happened in the UK. Knowing the UK is still racist to this day, and they can't even be real about the shit that's been going on for years and years over there. Like, it's the shit that needs to stop. Like, it just needs to stop. You know? It's, and I'm about to end my point on this. You know, I'm gonna just end it from here. If we cannot stop this thought policing shit to stop, you know, I feel like we all just need to start moving away from these Facebook and Twitters and whatnot. Because if you're giving people the option to post whatever they want to post, it's because of their First Amendment right. No. But you shouldn't be taking shit down because, you know, you don't want people to see how people are actually are. You know? You want to just be this thought police and put people in bubbles. This is why a lot of people are closed-minded today. Because they're not willing to open up their thought of conscious so you can actually see what, not just this matrix, but what this universe is really about. You know? Because in the matrix, shit, it's nothing but hell and whatnot. But the goal is to make sure that your hell isn't like the hell that's walking around every single day. You want to make sure that you're living in heaven, but not living in hell. Because the more your mind's in hell, best believe it's going in the wrong place. Because if you don't see highly of yourself, then that's why you will always be living in the same place, which is hell. And that's why we always keep seeing shit like this every single day. So I'm going to just end my thought basically. We need to get the thought police to stop being the thought police and show everyone the real truth so that we can better ourselves as people every single day. And that's, I'm going to just end it from there.
Okay. Yes, sir. Thank you for sharing. All right, fellas. So moving on to the next subject, let's talk about Juvenile song, Vax That Thing Up. So for those of you who are unaware, Juvenile, yes, I'm talking about Juvie. You a big fine woman, won't you back that thing? I'm talking about
the slow motion dude, huh?
Slow motion for me, and all of that. I'm talking about New Orleans Juvenile, Cash Money, back in the day Juvenile.
Hey, baby.
Has recently released a song called Vax That Thing Up. And for those of you who don't know, and where have you been hiding if you don't know, but Vax That Thing Up is a play on the song that Juvenile had called Back That Thing Up, right? It was like the official theme song of 99, I think it was when it came out.
More than 99 and 2000.
Exactly. Like when the
Cash
99,
money.
when that part comes on, like women just start naturally dancing. Like that's how serious it is, right? So he has recently, I don't even want to call it like redone. Like I don't even know what the appropriate word for it is, because I actually find it
remix.
Yeah, okay, there we go. He has remixed that song to create one called Vax That Thing Up. And it is atrocious. I'm just gonna throw that in there. But anyway, our official question is Juvenile's song Vax That Thing Up an insult to Black people's intelligence? And so this question for me was very interesting because I looked at it a few ways. So for those of you who, first of all, haven't seen it, please go do so. It is all over line everywhere. It's about a minute plus long. I think it's like a minute and 50 something seconds long. So it's not the full length of the song, the old song. It does have Manny Fresh in it as well. Manny Fresh came back for it. It doesn't have Wayne, of course, or any of the other ones, BG and whoever else made an appearance.
Because BG would never
But
be on that track whatsoever.
right.
Lil Wayne probably and
Exactly.
whatnot. But yeah, not
Yeah.
BG. That's the homie right there.
Right. Yeah. It's disrespectful for a lot of ways. But so anyway, when I looked at this question, I thought about, what was the intent supposed to be behind the video? I think that for me, the answer is yes, that is not only offensive and an insult to our intelligence, but furthermore, it speaks to the stereotypes that certain other powers to that be, for lack of a better term, view us as. Um, it was fucking ridiculous. Like, there is no politically correct way for me to put this. First of all, that's not our thing here at The Good, the Bad, and the Truth. Secondly, it doesn't apply for this topic. The video was fucking trash. Basura.
Asura.
Bullshit.
Yay!
like
That's a bullshit.
like it was
I was
just it
waiting
was
for it. I was just
malarkey.
waiting for it.
Yes, it was just whack. It was whack for so many reasons. The concept was whack. The fact that they really thought that they were going to appeal to Black people by remixing this song and talking about getting vaccinated is absolutely atrocious. Now, first of all, I'm someone who happens to feel that whether or not someone is vaccinated is no one's fucking business but the person who got vaccinated. Because here's my thing: if
Correct.
you're someone who believes that everyone should get vaccinated and so you got vaccinated, if you got vaccinated, doesn't it mean you're safe from the people who didn't? So why do you care? Why are
Correct.
you concerned about what someone else did or did not do? If you're vaccinated, isn't the idea that technically you're fucking safe from everyone who didn't get vaccinated? So why are you in people's business? I
Right.
actually find it ridiculous that people are asking other people whether they got vaccinated or not. And so I think it doesn't make any sense to me. That doesn't even connect. But for this video to even exist, for Juvenile to have just the unmitigated goal to put this shit out is so beyond offensive to me that I can't even articulate it the way that I want to. Like, there's so many things wrong with this shit. First of all, that's the song you chose to use. And I get it, it's an easy one to switch out the words, right? And again,
He could
I
have
am
used slow
not.
motion though, for real.
Right. I mean, there was a lot of in my opinion, there was just a lot of ill thinking that went behind this. Right. I'm going to, just give Juvie the benefit of the doubt because I've always appreciated him and been a fan of him, that perhaps there was like a decent paycheck with this. Not saying that he should have sold out for a paycheck, but I'm just trying to come up with different reasons that this bullshit was released. Like anything that makes an ounce of sense, because this shit doesn't make sense to me. The video is whack. The message is whack. People have the right to do whatever the fuck they want, whichever way they go, whether they choose to be vaccinated or they don't. No one has any right to deter someone one way or the other. And so for me, this shit just doesn't mesh. And it's just that simple for me. So for the specific question, is Juvenile's song "Vax That Thing Up" an insult to Black people's intelligence? I say it's an insult to Black people's intelligence. It's a offensive. It's malarkey. It's basuda, and it's bullshit because that song was whack as hell
I like
anyway.
the word malarkey.
Trash.
Yes, trash, basuda, malarkey, like all of it was just, it was whack. If you were going to try to placate to black people with this bullshit, you should have done a much better job than this whack ass shit. That's my opinion. It was just, it was trash.
We
So,
need to go back to the 99 and 2000 and think about what he
I
did.
mean, it was just, and did you see the video? Like the video was just, I
Yeah,
can't,
I saw it.
I just really can't even on it.
I
But,
burned my eyes out. That's how bad it was.
I
You know,
mean, it was just the worst. But those are my thoughts on it. I'm going to throw it to Mr. PAT to speak on the matter. What say you, sir?
Backs that thing up. Man, oh man. I mean, it's like, what the fuck? Like,
Right.
that's really my thinking.
I ain't gonna lie.
Like,
I'm done with Juvenile after this point. I don't know if I can
like
listen to slow motion anymore.
I'm just like when I heard about it, and when I saw the video, I was just like, nigga, what the fuck? Like, like what
That's
is
the
this?
same thing that went over my head. The same thing.
Like, what is this shit? And like, for real, like I was a fan of Juvenile. Like, I remember
Big fan. Big
I remember
fan.
when Back That Ass came out. Like, I remember, actually it originally came out in 98, I believe, but it blew up in 99.
That's true.
But because 400 Degrees actually 400 Degrees his first album, I want to say, or his first mainstream album, which I had, came out in 1998. And that, I mean, that song was on there, and it was called Back That Ass Up. But then fast forward to 1999, and they called it Back That Thing Up because they put it on the radio and they put it on TV. So of course, they couldn't, I guess they couldn't say ass on TV back then or whatever. So they changed the ass part to thing. So it's Back That Thing Up. Anyway, the song blew up in 99, huge, one of the biggest club songs out there. You want to see women's booty shake, you just throw that song on, and it's a rap. As we all know, it's a classic.
That's true, because I when that song came out, sorry to cut you off, PAT, but when that song definitely came out, like, I literally went to the club and I ain't never seen ass shake the way it's supposed to be shaking though. And yeah, I saw a lot of things that I wasn't supposed to see, but I did see it, and it was damn sure because of that song. But I just want to let everybody know that. But
yeah,
you can continue.
That's the booty shaking anthem right there. So
that is true.
One of the top booty shaking anthems.
Absolutely.
That is true.
So, I mean, yeah, so for him to even do this shit, I'm like, dude, like what the fuck? But to answer the question directly, to just answer that part.
I feel like this is gonna be a very hard question to keep asking. I'm just saying.
Backs That Thing Up is most certainly an insult to Black people's intelligence. I'm not going to go into the whole pro-vax or anti-vax thing, because I already know social media is on their Orwellian shit, and I don't want this commentary to be taken down.
The thought police.
Right. We know the thought police are out there. We know social media, all you fucking social media dictators out there and puppet masters and shit. We know you're out there listening, and I don't want this to be taken down, because we know that y'all want to thought police, and anything even related to the vaccine, you want to try to insert your authority. You want to try to assert your authority. So I'm not going to get into that part, the whole vax, pro-vax, anti-vax thing. I'll speak on the song and what it looks like. Supposedly, we've been hearing that not enough Black people have been vaccinated, but really not enough people, at least from what I've been hearing, have been vaccinated. However, I think it says a lot when a remix to one of the biggest songs in 1999 is encouraging people to go get vaccinated. Not only was the song remixed, but the video is a typical booty shaking rap video. A dating app by the name of BLK aired the video on their YouTube channel. And I don't know, honestly, I don't know what the whole plan or what the thought process was. And I don't know. I don't even know if I care, but you know, it seems like they figured that this would be a way to get more Black people vaccinated. Basically, this would be the way to do it because that's what Black people like so much. Ass shaking music. Apparently, we're supposed to be dumb enough to listen to a rap song and then go get the shot right after.
Hell no, not me.
Right. I mean, as we already established, when it comes to the top booty shaking songs ever, Back That Ass Up is arguably that. It's a classic club anthem, and it's a guarantee that once that song comes on, we will see some twerking. I don't know why Juvenile thought doing this remix was a good idea. The last thing that hip hop needs is a remake of a classic, a really bad remake at that. That's something that hip hop doesn't need. Really, the world doesn't need that. I mean, it's just crazy when you think about it. And you're remixing this particular song and using it to try to encourage people to get vaccinated. Like I said before, I was a fan of Juvenile and the rest of Cash Money back in their heyday. But Juvenile, brother, this is not a good look. I mean,
no.
if I could speak to you directly, man to man, you know, I have no ill feelings towards you. There's no disrespect, but this is just not a good look. It's
Hell
not
no.
a good look. So it seems like when it comes to this vaccine, all of the stops are being pulled out in order to get more people to go get it.
I agree.
You know, because not too long ago, Shake Shack, the one up in New York, was offering free French fries for people who would get the shot. Washington State was offering weed to people who would get the jab.
You gotta be fucking
Yep.
weed?
Yes, weed, marijuana. Yep.
Did you say the jab?
Yeah, that's code word now.
Yeah, that's
you can't
the code
say
word.
vaccine.
Right.
The jab is the code
right.
word now.
So I'm gonna say shot and jab. I'm gonna say it interchangeably, but
Bruh, that is so funny. Okay.
So, but yeah,
Go get
marijuana.
your jab. That's all they say.
Yeah. So yep, the jab. But yeah, up in Washington State, they were offering free marijuana. Free marijuana. So in other states, there were offers for free Krispy Kreme donuts, free Uber and Lyft rides, free beer.
Also, not to cut you off, PAT, but Uber was actually not just offering free rides, but they were offering free rides so you can go get your jab and whatnot.
Right. That's yep. That's what it was for. Free Uber and Lyft rides to go get the jab. Free, like I said before, free beer, free Girl Scout cookies, free hot dogs, free Target gift card, and the list goes on. The link to the article that lists
also
all of
lotteries also too. Lotteries.
Yeah, I heard about the lotteries too. So yeah, the link to the article that lists all of these incentives will be in the description.
Yeah, Maryland's already had I think 2 winners. Chicago just had their first winner 3 days ago and whatnot.
Mm. Yeah, free lottery tickets. Okay, yeah. I mean, it's just free a whole bunch of stuff. But yeah, it's just crazy to me how the powers that be would jump through all of these hoops just to get people to take the jab.
Oh, sorry to also cut you off, PAT. There was also a dude who who if he got the jab, he would get a lesser jail sentence, by the way. Just saying.
I believe that. I'm pretty sure, you know. Yeah, I believe that.
Wait, what? I'm sorry. So you said guy committed a crime. Crime has a certain amount of jail time. He was instructed he'll get less jail time if he takes the vaccination shot.
Yeah, yeah. If he takes the
Wow.
jab, yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I'm not even going.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, yeah. Let me just wrap this up because yeah, when you think about this shit, it's really fucking insane. But yeah, so in order to get, so they figured in order to get more black people to go get vaxxed, basically they came up with this bright idea to remake a classic song for the club into a song that encourages getting the jab. This is coming from the people who obviously pull the strings. Sorry, I'm getting a little tongue twisted because this is just it's like kind of mind boggling when you really think about all this.
I feel you. I feel you.
Yeah, the people who pull the strings figured this was such a great idea. The people who come up with these ideas must really think black people as a group is just plain stupid. Rather than educate the target audience on why they should get vaccinated, they figured a rap song would somehow be the magic necessary to make black people just go get the jab. You know, since we're all about rap music, twerking and engaging in buffoonery. Yeah, let's put out this song, and yeah, that'll make them go get the jab. So yeah, this is just not a good look. This is just really not a good look. It's funny, and I mean it's funny in like a comical way, and it's funny like in a just a real unfortunate way, for lack of a better phrase. Now, to just really wrap what I'm gonna say up, I just want to say that I know we are not stupid enough to fall for this shit. I'm gonna just end it right there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you for sharing. All right, E-Man, I'm going to go ahead and throw it to you to wrap us up. What say you, sir?
I hope, like, I just hope that people are not that stupid to, to go get the jab after this, like,
I really
debacle
hope so
of this shambles of a song. But yeah, before I get into my thought and whatnot, you know, before I even go in and whatnot, before I go in, you know, I put it like this, BG was like one of the dopest dudes, you know, that I feel one of the dopest rappers I know out there in Louisiana, and he's a dope dude in my eyes.
I
And
was a
like,
fan of BG too.
yeah, big fan. Juvenile, huge fan. You know what I'm saying? Like huge fan and whatnot. It was a huge fan to the point where I told everybody Lil Wayne was some shit, and and that's something I always ride with. So anybody can fight me on that, but yeah, Lil Wayne was always shit in my eyes and whatnot. Even when he went solo, he was still shit and everything. He was like the toilet bowl with the shit inside of it and whatnot. But let me continue. But yo, I had a lot of respect for you, not just because you made one of the best booty shaking like anthems and whatnot. Because of, I would say because of that song, I've had a lot of good dances because of you. That song has it made the 99 and 2000 dope, you know, even though it came out in 98, you know. But you made, you know, you know, you made middle school and high school house parties lit because of that song. But then you you took a check and just ruined the whole motherfucking thing. You know what? And you ain't just ruin it. You went into a lane and an avenue you had no business doing. You know? Yeah. Just like how, you know, the thought police say, you know, hopefully your video probably got, I hope it got shut down because of the simple fact that is medical information, by the way, and whatnot. And please tell me if someone told me that was medical information, I'd be like, man, that shit just needs to be burning on fire and everything because that was horrible and whatnot. You know, it's just things like this that makes me question all y'all. I'm sitting here like, yo, I, Juvenile, when you on Wildin' Out, and I'm thinking Nick Cannon probably dropped you a huge check. What in the world made you feel you doing this song? I can't even say song. Remix, by the way. Let me say remix. Where you were going, I wouldn't say when. I can't even say like, I don't know what you were pushing it for, but you fucked up. Like, come on, man. Like, you really fucked up. Like, you really did. You know? You didn't sit here and think about, I don't care how big that check was. Did you really sit here and think about what you were really doing? Like, really? I don't think so. Then the nerve of you bringing your tag along partner and whatnot, Manny Fresh and whatnot, because knowing you needed your stupid DJ to come out there to make sure everything worked out well. And look what you guys did. You know, you didn't just ruin the song. You fucked up and whatnot. Literally fucked up.
Real quick. I just want to add something real quick. So, yeah, we all think this was just not a good look. I would also add that this is something that could taint his legacy. And I know that might be a bold statement to make, but I'm just like, bruh, you have a classic. You have one of the biggest songs, one of the biggest booty shaking songs ever that everybody gets down to across, you know, different races, you know, all over the world. And putting something out like backs that thing up, bruh. I think honestly, man, you're tainting your legacy. I'm gonna just say that.
I'm fine. You saying it, and I'm going to agree with you behind it. Nick, you fucked up and whatnot. Literally, you know, like I don't even know. I don't even want to listen to slow. I don't even want to listen to no more your music right now. That's how bad it is and whatnot. Cause you stepped in something you wasn't supposed to and whatnot. You know, well, because you made that song, you think everyone in New Orleans about to get vaccinated? You know what I'm saying? Talking about vax that ass up, man. Are you man? I just feel like I need to be like a pimp and put like baby powder in my hand and just slap you like 2 times and whatnot, man. Like you can't be messing up the game. Like I don't know. Like are the checks that big to do something this like the range and whatnot? You know, and you know. For me, I tell you, I am anti-vax. I don't care what anybody says because basically that's what I am and whatnot. You know, you can fight me on it, but that's what I am. But the thing about with me is I don't fight people towards what decisions that you want to make for yourself. But don't come over here and talking to me like I need to do this because you did that. I'm like, nah, buddy, it's not working that way. Remember, I don't care.
Social media thought police is out there. Mm-hmm.
Because the thought police, yeah, like I said, like the thought police think they're going to keep running everything. You're not running shit and anything. I'm letting everybody know the thought police Y'all think y'all tough. Y'all not tough at all. You know, it's so bad to the point that people are getting confused now. You know, you know? People are starting to question the people they are listening to. You know, who they thought they were good people, but now it seems like everything's for a check. Because I can tell everyone like this, right? I'm still paying for water. Mhm. I'm still paying for food. You know, I'm still paying for gas in my car. You know, I'm still paying for all the necessities I need and bills and whatnot. But you're telling me if I get the job, oh my goodness, the whole universe just opens up? Or is that the Matrix is talking? Man, I can go get free donuts. Man, I can go enter a lotto that's up to like $1 million. You know? Yeah. Oh man, I can get free fries, free burgers. Panera's over here giving people, you know, free bagels and whatnot. You know, I'm sitting over here like, what in the fuck? Yeah, I'm still paying for water, but because I get this job, I get so many incentives now. That's what it is. So we're validating a job. That's what we're doing. We're validating something that came out in literally in 9 months. We're literally incentivizing something. So it's not even about going back to normal or to what type of normal we're going back to. It's the simple fact is y'all willing to do anything to go harm yourself for a little bit of temporary freedom. Well, I want to say temporary freedom. I would say more temporary enjoyment. That lust of enjoyment and whatnot. That which I miss where I can go everywhere I please without worrying about this. You know? The whole temporary stuff and whatnot. Why don't you feel like agreeing with people who know what they're talking about so you can stand up for something so we can get everything back moving again? No, you guys want to wait for people to do what you've done that nobody want else to do. Like, I don't know what else to say, but the shit is getting sickening and whatnot. Yeah. And I hope you I can't even I have nothing more to say, man, that you ruin your own legacy and whatnot. You know? You know what went in the back of my mind? And this might sound crazy, right? Say if something would happen to you and if he dies, right? You know what I think the news are gonna say? They will say rapper from New Orleans, Juvenile, has died unknown cause, disease. Who made the song "Vax That Ass Up" and whatnot? You know, I'm like, that's what you get for messing around with silly ass shit, and that's what you get because if that's the song that they're gonna reference for you, if some like towards like your obituary and whatnot, then nigga, that's on you and whatnot. That is definitely on you. You know, and just to end my thought on this, Juvenile, you fucked up. You fucked up to the point that you can't come back from. You know, I don't care how big that check is and whatnot. You know, that you're going along with the same people out here incentivizing something that doesn't need to be incentivized. Huh? You know, you should be better than that. You know, because if anybody's that stupid to listen to Juvenile over that stupid song, you're not just putting your life in danger, you're harming yourself for something that he's not going to even do to himself and whatnot. Like, come on, man. Like, who's that stupid and who's that deranged to go listen to a song and be like, you know what? Since Juvenile said I should go do it, damn it, you know what? I'm gonna go into that pharmacy and I'm gonna get it done and whatnot. Anybody who thinks like that, you are losing your goddamn mind and you probably need to go get checked out, you know? And I'm ending my thoughts from there because I feel like the more I keep talking about this and whatnot, just makes it so goddamn shameful and whatnot. So goddamn shameful. My goodness.
Alrighty. Well, thank you for sharing, sir. Appreciate your thoughts on that. So, moving on to the next subject, fellas, definitely a very important one for us to discuss is the assassination of the Haitian president. So, for our listeners out there who are not aware, on July 7th, the Haitian president, Jovenel Mose, I believe I pronounced his name correctly, was assassinated inside of his home. And Unfortunately, his wife is also in the hospital recovering from injuries that she received during that tragic event. So, the official question that we are going to be discussing is, why should Black people be concerned with the assassination of the Haitian president? So, I'm going to go ahead and lead us off on this. For me, this was um, a very difficult question to answer, only because when I thoroughly researched this matter, there were many different aspects to consider. I'm going to start by reading just a quick excerpt from the um, article that is online. Again, we always encourage everyone to, do their own research and etc. This article that I'm reading from is from the Associated Press. And it says, Washington, the investigation into the July 7th assassination of Haitian President Jovenel Moise has so far resulted in at least 23 arrests, with 3 suspects killed, but no clear picture yet of who ordered the killing and why. What has emerged from the limited disclosures from Haitian authorities, officials in Colombia and elsewhere, and people who know the suspects is a growing, interconnected web of players. Here's a look at some of the key figures so far. And then it goes on to speak about the president himself, who was assassinated, Martine Moise or Mose, who is his wife, who is hospitalized, who actually mentioned that it was mercenaries that entered their home. Um, I just want to say that this is very, very much, in my opinion, way more convoluted and involved than the information that is being given to the public. I almost want to be cautious with my words, because I feel like this is running deeper than many people are going to realize. There has been speculation that there were American, I'm not going to use the word snitches, but I'm going to say American informants involved in the shooting. Okay, that's what this article itself from the Associated Press alludes to, right?
They were snitches.
And yeah, and so my thing is, whenever there is an assassination, a successful assassination, much like JFK, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, and etc., I rarely believe the surface level bullshit of information that is released to the public. I don't. And I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, you're a conspiracy theorist. Oh, that's because you don't want to accept the truth. I really don't give a fuck what you think, to be honest, about why I feel that way. I just know in my heart of hearts, based on the research that I have done in every one of those examples that I just mentioned, that there were too many details that did not appropriately fit the narrative that the powers to be put out in each one of those situations. In every one of the examples I gave, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, JFK, and even this one, there are certain details that make absolute no sense to me. For example, in this tragic situation, only the president and his wife were wounded. They somehow managed to reach them without harming or shooting any of his security detail.
Does that make any
What?
sense? That
Are
makes
they
no
fucking
sense.
spies? Do they have are they, what is happening here? Were they trained by, a fucking government to be a version of James Bond? How the fuck did they accomplish killing the president, shooting his wife, managing to not have to harm any of his security detail?
FBI.
It's malarkey to me. Okay. The narrative that this was just done by random people who ran into his household is malarkey. It's bullshit. It makes no sense. And you can't feed me a line of bullshit and expect me to eat it and call it lobster. Okay. It's fucking ridiculous. It's
Did
that
you hear
simple.
what you just said? If you can't call it bullshit unless I'm going to eat some lobster. Did I get that correctly, or I messed up
No,
on it?
what I was trying to say is you can't feed me a bunch of bullshit and call it lobster. That's essentially the gist that I was getting at,
That
right?
shit was funny.
It's the same as like piss on my back and tell me it's raining, right? It doesn't. My intelligence will not allow me to accept the bullshit. So, to answer the question, why should Black people be concerned with the assassination of the Haitian president? Because when things like this happen and the people don't take the time to question the narratives that are presented to them, it just makes the people who are behind it more and more bold to do so. Right? It makes them more and more bold to do so. I'm not saying that this president was the greatest president the country has ever had. I obviously am not Haitian. I have never lived in the country. I do not have the firmest grip on their politics.
But Haitians are cool though.
But yeah, but right. I do know a lot of Haitian people, people who are of Haitian descent. Just like every other race, I don't have any issue with any specific race from that regard, right? Because of their race, of course. But anyway, the point that I'm making here is that once the public decides to just blindly accept any narrative that is presented to them, you are enabling, to a certain extent, the thought that this kind of shit will just go overlooked, that we're not going to ask questions, that we're not going to try to understand what actually went down here. And regardless of whether you are Haitian or not, this took place in a predominantly Black country, right? Some people consider Black to only mean people who are from America, who are, not necessarily African American, because I actually know African Americans and they are people who are descendants of, people from Africa, but were born in America. So I personally don't use the term African American, not because I have a problem with it or anything of that nature, but just because I don't feel like it properly is what should be used for folks who may be descendants of slaves. But for me, this happened in what could be considered a Black country. And one that is actually known, because if my memory serves me correctly, a lot of people do not realize that Haiti was a nation that independently freed themselves from the French. Right. So
that's true.
And that is something that is not even taught to us in schools. Right. I wonder why. Right. Because how emboldened would people become, people of color, Black people and etc., become, knowing that, it wasn't just this long 400 plus years of Black people being held down in America and no one ever, fought back, except, of course, with the exception of the Harriet Tubmans and other folks, but fought back and etc. How empowering would it be to know that there was a whole predominantly Black nation that freed themselves from the French colonizers, right? And a lot of people have said that is the reason why that country has faced so many different just tragedies and disasters and etc., and haven't received the appropriate aid, because nations kind of still have this vendetta against them since they did that. So for me, I went a lot of places with this, but the fact of the matter is, it is absolutely important, and Black people should absolutely be concerned with the assassination of the Haitian president. Because they're trying to feed us a bullshit narrative that we should not blindly accept. Not ever, not in any situation. B, because this is a nation of our brethren who have a history of standing up for themselves and being strong and determined to come from under their oppressors. And in today's time, to just accept the bullshit narratives that are being spewed at us should be absolutely unacceptable. No question, if, ands, or buts about it. So those are my thoughts on the matter. I'm going to go ahead and throw this to Mr. PAT. What say you, sir?
Okay, so when I heard about the Haitian president, it just made me think. So I look at it like this. When a country is under-resourced and underdeveloped and not allowed to flourish because of various reasons, it will be easy for the leaders of said country to be exploited. Anyone who cares about history most likely knows about the Haitian Revolution, which Naya just touched on. And, they know how Haiti ended up being in debt to the French as well, because that's what happened after the revolution. They ended up being indebted to the French. The way I look at things, I ask, how can a public official be safe when they are running a country that is severely lacking in resources and infrastructure? I look at this story a bit funny, because regardless of what the mainstream media says, one thing I do know is what happened to Haiti's president could not happen to a U.S. president. And let me be clear, a U.S. president has been assassinated before. We know this.
But and throwing a shoe at him too, Let's not forget that.
Well, yeah, there was one who had a shoe thrown at him. Yep. Yeah.
If it was this, if the person would have aimed correctly, it would have got him so good.
Yeah, but the way he dodged that shoe, though, that was crazy.
That was the crazy shit.
Yeah, I was like, damn, his spider sense kicked in, and like he
just moved out the way. I was like, damn.
I was like, okay, W. Had his W sense going on and shit. But Yeah, that was crazy. But yeah, like I was saying, so we know that you know, there have been attempts on the president. You know, a U.S. president has been assassinated. We know that has happened before, but on average, it just can't happen like that. Like it can't happen because of their security being so tight. So why should Black people be concerned? I mean, that's the question for this episode, right? Why should we be concerned? For me, it's simple. We should be concerned because there has been some type of U.S. involvement, and I know that's a bold statement to make. I won't get into the details here because I know that this is still a developing story, and more things will unfold as time goes on. Plus, the links to the articles will be in the description. In regards to Black people, whether it be the Africans in America, the Africans in the Caribbean, or the Africans in Africa, there should be some concern because this is a reminder of how, in a system of white supremacy, Black empowerment isn't allowed to fully flourish. Even if someone were to tell me that there was no US involvement at all, I would still say that there is nothing wrong with some healthy skepticism. The reason for that is because anyone who is aware of even some of the things that the US government has done to Black people here in the States and overseas should have some skepticism. Anything involving countries, different countries being let me frame it like this. Anything that happens, something that happens that's this drastic, this this crazy, when it happens in different countries, we have to question if there was some US involvement. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. If we know the history of the US government, if we know the history of the United States of America, then it would behoove us to question if there is involvement on their part. Now, I saw a news clip that showed President, I want to make sure I got his last name right because I heard it pronounced Moise. I'm going to say President Moise. I saw a news clip that showed President Moise say that his government didn't have plans to administer the vaccine in Haiti. In this same news clip, which was a clip of an interview where he said that Haitians have a relationship with nature that protects them from COVID. And they have access to a plant that produces a tea made from ginger root. Now, I tried to search. Yeah. So when I saw this clip on Instagram.
That's why holistic medicine's the best.
Right. So when I saw this clip, yeah, my response was, wow. Wow. And I tried to find this clip because I wanted to post it in the description. And I'm sure I'll come across it at some point. But I tried to find it. I tried the search engines, couldn't find it. I even looked on YouTube to see where this interview was, couldn't find it. Basically, I tried to search for this clip and it's just not coming up. So what I think is the powers that be might have circled the wagons and scrubbed the internet of this clip. But the thing is, I saw it, heard it, and can't unsee and unhear it. So it's easy for me to draw certain conclusions. It's easy for me to say that there is a possibility that President Moise might have been taken out because he didn't quite play ball when it came to vaccination. Now, do I know this for sure? No. However, one can speculate. Ain't nothing wrong with speculating. We can all speculate, can't we? The fact of the matter is, the system of white supremacy has never been above throwing a rock and hiding their hand, especially when it comes to getting leaders from different countries out of power. I think this should be a concern for Black people, because what this tells me is that the agenda that is at work is an agenda that other countries are somehow being coerced into getting on board with. And if they don't get on board with this agenda, then there will be consequences. Black leaders can't even do what they think is in their best interest. So I ask, what about the rest of the African diaspora? What about the rest of us out here who aren't Black leaders? If these Black leaders can't even do what they think is in their best interest, whether it be for themselves or their country or whatever, then what about the rest of us? What about the rest of us? The thing is, when these things happen, I think a message is clearly being sent, not only to the country that is going through turmoil, but to the people hearing about what's going on globally. So for those reasons, this is why I think Black people should be concerned about this particular incident, the assassination of the Haitian president. I mean, we're concerned about many other things that we know, but this in particular, yeah, we should be concerned about it. And I think so because, we can't go with the bullshit narrative that the mainstream media is going to put out there. And I mean, Naya already spoke on that piece, but I'm just going to piggyback on that by saying, yeah, we can't just believe what we hear or believe what we read from the mainstream media, because we already know they're gonna put out their narrative. They're gonna just put out what they want us to think, what they want us to believe. So with a situation like this, where there's so many moving parts, so many moving pieces, I mean, there's no telling how deep this really goes. There's really no telling. And we can't go by a surface level type of information that is presented to us. We just can't go off of that. Yeah, we hear it, we see it, we read it. Cool. All right, we think about it, we talk about it, whatever, but we got to go deeper with this one. And really anything else that the mainstream media throws at us, we need to try to see what's going on behind the scenes. We need to go deeper. Those are my thoughts.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. Thank you for sharing. All right, E-Man, I am going to throw it to you to wrap us up. What say you, sir?
Okay, so I've been dying to talk about this topic. Dying. I'm glad I went last on everything. I think I killed it today and whatnot. I think I killed it. So I think I did. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm super proud of myself because I actually came in today and whatnot. And I didn't say anything wild and foolish yet. I don't know. I mean,
oh shit.
Yeah,
this you've been bringing the flames so far, but
yeah,
damn.
Yeah. I think I've been on it so much that I had to be, a silly asshole today. I don't know. Yeah, I think I pulled out a good one today. But man. So when I heard about this, another story that don't shock me, there were other presidents who also got killed in the process. I can't name every single one because I can't keep up with them. I do know a lot of them were all, African related countries and whatnot. Their presidents getting assassinated for no reason, based upon information. It was all based upon this whole jab incident that, they wouldn't administrate it. This jab per se, the same thing that people are making incentives off of this jab situation. And for me, y'all can call me a conspiracy, conspiracy theory. Y'all can call me all that. I'ma just tell y'all, fuck you and kiss my ass and whatnot. You know, that's what I'm gonna say. That's simple and whatnot. That's what I'm gonna say. But I already know who did it. You know. If I say, everybody's gonna lose their mind when I say it. But I'm gonna just give everyone a hint and whatnot. It's the same piece of massive land that always lies about everything, who thinks they're a superpower, knowing they're not, and they be taking out every single individual, you know, out, in the US. Well, oops, I just said it, but yeah, the US, which I feel like they did this because the US is the same people that basically stated that they killed Martin Luther King and whatnot, US government and whatnot. Um, the FBI was behind Malcolm X killing. There's a documentary on that on Netflix, but I already knew that on top of that because simple fact was, the FBI kept following Malcolm since his last final days that he was living, whatnot. You know. And when you look at all the presidents, especially like all these presidents, you know, a lot of them were always even when I was researching while the whole pandemic was up, they were all against this and whatnot, because many African countries hold holistic medicine, because it grows from nature. Mm? And most nature is, I'm going to say most nature, but the most powerful herbs come from tropical, hot places. Keyword is tropical and whatnot. Mm? So he had nothing to worry about and whatnot. Nothing at all and whatnot. This was all to control everyone, to tell people, you gotta take this because you fucking need it. And you clearly don't need it and whatnot. I feel looking at this whole jab incident, I feel like, they're just giving people crack cocaine like cocaine for free and whatnot. That's what I feel like what it is now. This jab is more like cocaine. It's like basically, you know what? You know, take this. We'll give you this. Take this. We'll give you that. You know? And anybody opposed from it or tell you no towards the president, we coming for your ass and whatnot. That's what it seemed what the US was doing. We're coming for that ass. And they took out 6 of them and whatnot. Because none of the stories make sense. I know all presidents have security detail. All of them do. Every single last one of them. All of them. Every single, yeah, every single last one of them. All of them have, detail. You telling me nobody from their detail died? Supposedly they just went in this joint stealth? I was like, I don't believe it and whatnot. Because I'm gonna tell y'all this: there are no U.S. agents out there that is like Batman. I ain't gonna lie, none of y'all are Batman. You know what I'm saying? None of you motherfuckers are Bruce Wayne and whatnot. Because if you were Bruce Wayne, I'll tell you like this: you would have a $1 billion mansion sitting on the top of a hill that has a bat cave under there, and telling me that you go over there, you doing some shit with a Batmobile and whatnot. But y'all niggas are not Bruce Wayne. Hell, none of y'all Tony Stark either. So you can't tell me at all that y'all literally went in that jump, killed one person, suppose his wife is injured, and y'all ain't touching no detail in anything like that. None whatsoever. That don't even make sense. It don't even make sense. That just sounds like a US screw-up job. Y'all came in there, oops, we're gonna put some paint right here. We'll just cover this. We're gonna just do that and be like, boom, you know? Like, ain't nobody gonna see shit. And then be like, boom, you know what? We're just gonna tell everyone this happened and this happened, and I guarantee you they'll believe it. And if anybody's falling for that story, you must be like, I need like another word that don't sound bad, but it's not like bullshit. But then, you're not stupid, and then you're not dumb, but yet you're stupid and dumb. Like, what's that middle word that most people use to insult people? I'm thinking of it. I'm thinking of it. Okay, I finally got it. An asshole. That's what it is. An asshole and whatnot. Because that's what you guys are complete assholes to believe stupid shit like this. Only assholes believe stupid stories. They buy into stupid shit and whatnot. That's what assholes do. They do stupid things so they can enjoy their own stupid lives because they won't see the truth. They don't want to even, they don't even want to hear the truth and whatnot. Like they'll believe a lie before they even want to hear the truth. That's the type of shit that we're on and whatnot. No, no. Like it just seems like anybody who imposes, don't say no to the, it seems like it's going to cost your own life. I'm like, what kind of shit is this? This is the this is the matrix that we're in, and I can't say this is the universe that we are in right now. You know, I feel like the universe is. I feel like the universe is looking within all of us and saying, "It's like you." There's a majority of motherfuckers that just needs to go, and I'm like, yes, because they're just that dumb. Yeah, highly intelligent. At, like we can keep pushing the envelope, this, that, forward and back. The US know what you did. And just say you did it so we can move on from it. That's all I need. Because there's no way to tell me that people out there in Haiti really hated this man and whatnot. Because based upon the interviews I see that's out there right now, my man said, no, I'm not. He said, no, I'm not giving this to my country and whatnot. Because he already know what's in there. He knows his resources, you know. Even though the simple fact the U.S. rapes Haiti, you know, out of all their natural resources, the most they can and whatnot, you know. And to put it out there, I know a lot of people like Bill Clinton, but his foundation is one of the biggest foundations that rips Haiti from their own resources and whatnot, with his brother's help too. You know, literally destroying resources out there in Haiti, stealing shit for their own personal gains and whatnot. You know, huh? and 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 we can go back and forth about this shit. That's the truth because it's not just because it's out there. You can find the paper trail and whatnot. Because there's a lot of people who know a lot about the horrible dealings with the Clintons. A lot. And this man and the president that supposedly got sassed, he hated them. Completely hated them. And because he kept saying no, you know, it was more the sense he needs to be dealt with. You know, that's just how it is for most of them, man. You know, and and when I mean getting dealt with, I would say this is the easiest way to see it if you guys can't comprehend on and whatnot. It's like putting hole punchers. It's like you holding a binder and you got paper and you got to put hole punches in it. You know, you use that hole punch, you pushing it down, get those holes in your paper so you put it in your binder correctly and make sure it fits well. That's how easy it is for them and whatnot. You know, just it's that simple. You know, it's almost like an easy task, and they're willing to do it. And that's and it's sad to say that happened to a man who's going to help rise his own people, so they don't have to be subject to a vile poison that's going to probably wipe out his whole country and whatnot. You know, it's a damn shame. Like I don't even know what else to say, but it's a damn shame. And I'm gonna end my note on this. You know, I'm definitely gonna end my note. I'm gonna end up strong and powerful. You know, you know. Nobody needs to administrate any vaccinations out in Haiti. You know what I'm saying? Huh? I feel the U.S. needs to get out of every single major country because they're not doing anything over there but raping them out of their resources and whatnot. Literally, you know, because that's all they do is take and whatnot. And that's why a lot of countries hate the U.S. Huh? Because all they do is take. That's all they can do, and that's all they're going to do and whatnot. You know.
Facts.
That's all they're going to do. I don't care what anybody says. You know, I hate when people tell me that they're over there helping. They're not helping nowhere in Africa. They're not helping nowhere. All they're doing is taking, destroying, and ruining lives every day. I know this because I talk to people out there, and I have proof from family members that told me the same thing when they were children and everything. How destructive the U.S. can be, the U.S. government and whatnot. And to end this final note, if the US government was so good that they say they wouldn't need to incentivize something if it was safe to be used, one. And two, they wouldn't have to lie about it to create a pandemic to destroy everything. That's where we've been at. And it's just that simple. You know, I don't hate anybody, but it's when you see what truth looks like, it should be that simple and whatnot. It should be very simple, but they can't even put it that simple. I'm gonna show you how crazy it is. Since this thing has started, can you honestly tell me? Can you honestly really tell me what's the end goal behind everything? And no one can't tell me anything. The only thing people tell me when everyone gets vaccinated, everything's gonna go back to normal. If that's the logic you're working with,
A new normal.
that is like you losing your goddamn mind and whatnot. You know, that's me telling people to go against their own faith, religion, all of this and whatnot. We can take every single thing, that holds against their own free will. You know, everyone has their own free will. You know, that's why they tell you can choose your religion and all that other stuff that you choose, like towards what you choose to do. But I'm not a fan of religion, but I don't tell some of these religions that they're wrong. But it seems like, according to this jab, your religion don't mean shit. Don't you get that? But you won't see it at all and whatnot. You know, it's like you remember that bullshit campaign that P Diddy was doing, talking about vote and die. You know what I'm saying? I feel like the new campaign is going to be get the jab or die and whatnot. I think that's going to be the whole new slogan now with this and
Yeah, I
whatnot.
can see that. I can see
Yeah,
that coming.
get the jab or die. You know, I feel like that's going to be the next new thing and whatnot. For everyone that it seems all those who kept fighting for this and they lost their life, I say more power to you because you at least you're fighting for something. You know, it's just very sad. That everyone's lost their mind and don't know their own level of conscious. That's where we're at right now. That's the issue that we got going on right now. You know, yeah. It's not just a simple fact a president lost his life. You know what I'm saying? Because to me, a lot of people don't care and whatnot. But I say, and I'll put this out here as my last final thing, right? If someone would shoot Joe Biden right now, how do you think everyone will react right now as a whole? Same people that vote, they'll be crying their eyes out and asking, why this? Why that? Why this? Why that? Joe, we were this close getting the vaccination victory rate. We were this close and whatnot. That's what everyone's going to say. A man who fought against this and whatnot gets assassinated. His wife almost somewhat alive, maybe half dead. I don't know the whole story. Not a peep, not a word, nothing. It's his fault because he decided not to vaccinate his own. Those are the comments I'm seeing every day and whatnot. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I just want to end it from there. For anybody who feels like we're gonna solve this so-called created issue that a group of people created, the U.S. government created, and feel like this is the solving answer, like getting the jab or die, I'm like, you might as well go join them because They're willing to kill you just to push out another agenda. And this is proving it right now and whatnot, you know? This is actual proof, you know? Everything that I researched, it's actual proof now, and that's what everyone keeps saying and whatnot, you know? Sorry that a man had to lose his life for fighting for his own country, you know? And I'm gonna just end it from there.
All right. Thank you, sir. And I just want to take the time for all of our listeners out there to make sure that we make something clear. Again, here on The Good, the Bad, and the Truth, we definitely do not shy away from talking about difficult subjects. Please understand that these thoughts and opinions are individual to each one of us, and are never intended to imply or infer, that anyone has to have the same opinion that we do. Furthermore, these topics that we have discussed on this session, are definitely topics that are not easy discussions for folks to have, but that is exactly why we address them, because we don't shy away from talking about the real. But I just again want to make sure that we reiterate these are our opinions on the matter. We are not encouraging anyone to do anything besides think for themselves. And I just wanted to make sure that was clear. Great stuff this week, fellas. I think that we touched on some very important subjects out in the world right now, in the matrix, as our guy PAT would say. So, to go ahead and wrap us up, I do want to make sure that all of our listeners and supporters out there know how much we thank them. We appreciate them. We do this for y'all. We couldn't do it without y'all. And we appreciate all the love and support that we've been receiving. If you haven't already, please go on YouTube, hit that like, hit that subscribe button. Keep yourself in the know with that constant content from us. And we appreciate you. I'm gonna go ahead and throw it to our fellas. I'm sorry, Eman, did you have something you wanted to add there?
Yeah, there was something I wanted to add before, Pat gets his drop in. But the last thing I just want to say is for all my fellas out there, if you can rubber booty, definitely go rubber booty, because that
Oh,
is that
mercy.
is that is by far the best thing you can do and whatnot.
What the
For all my
D?
ladies out there, if you got a man that you need to snuggle with, make sure you snuggle with them. That's all I'm saying. Just keep the love moving and grooving. That's all I'm saying.
That's
Yeah,
right.
sir. Okay.
I had to
Thank
come
you.
out with something funny. So yeah, let's go.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for that very important PSA that you got in there. And for all our listeners out there, in case you all didn't know, we do have a resident rapper and dope web designer, as well as a super nutritionist and personal trainer, Mr. PAT and E-Man, who are going to drop their contact information if you need their assistance. Mr. PAT, go ahead and give them that contact, sir.
Sure. thepatchannel.com. Once again, thepatchannel.com. Like, follow, subscribe, share the content.
Do
Well,
all
first of
that.
all, yeah, all that. First of all, get involved with the content, which would be music, articles, videos, etc. Like, share, subscribe, follow, and spread the word, spread the content, and let's build and connect and form like Voltron.
Hey,
Let's do that.
I'm
Hey.
all for it, sir. I'm all for it. And Mr. E-Man, go ahead and drop that contact info, sir.
Yes. You can check out my IG, Woo, WOO Athletics with an S 56. It is Woo Athletics 56. You can shoot me an email. You can definitely see what content I have on my IG. Not just with different meals that I also make. You can also see a few of the workouts that are out there on my IG. And like I said earlier in one of the, I would say one of our previous shows and whatnot, that Woo Athletics is doing a re-grand opening in the end of August and
Hey.
whatnot.
Hey.
So there's a big, like, it's just gonna be pretty big. So
Yes,
I'm just letting
sir.
everyone know that. So yeah, but definitely check out my IG for all my contact information.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, to all our listeners out there, once again, thank you for checking in with us here at The Good, the Bad, and the Truth. And until next time, peace.
Hey.
Peace out, all love.